The robots.txt file is a crucial file that acts as the gatekeeper for web crawlers. It helps you control how search engines interact with your website. Think of it as the digital bouncer of your web domain. Why does the robots.txt file matter? Well, it guides search engine crawlers on which parts of your website to index. It prevents overloading your server by controlling crawler access. It also protects sensitive content from being indexed and optimizes your crawl budget for important pages. The robots.txt file follows a simple structure with key directives that control crawler behavior. Each rule consists of two main parts. First, the user agent specification, and second, the crawling directives. As you can see in the example code, a comment starts with a hash. Then we specify the user agent using the directive user agent, followed by a colon, and then the value, which is a star here, denoting that this rule applies to all crawlers. Then comes another directive, disallow, which prevents access to a particular directory, which is admin here. Then allow directive allows access to public content in the blog directory. We can specify rules for specific crawlers as well. For example, user agent Googlebot, followed by disallow directive that prevents access to private folder. Similarly, the allow directive can be used to allow access to public folder. Let's look at some of the common directives used in a robots.txt file. First is the user agent directive. It specifies which web crawlers the rules apply to. You can use an asterisk for all crawlers, or specify a particular crawler like Googlebot. Then comes the disallow directive. It tells crawlers which URLs or directories they cannot access. Then we have the allow directive, which explicitly permits crawling of specific URLs within disallowed sections. And finally, we have the crawl delay directive, which sets the minimum time, in seconds, between consecutive crawler requests. Let's look at some user agent examples. Here, the first section applies to all crawlers, disallowing the admin directory, but allowing access to the public directory. The next section specifies rules for Googlebot, disallowing access to the no Google directory, and setting a crawl delay of 2 seconds. The third section specifies rules for Bingbot, disallowing access to the private directory, but allowing access to the public documents folder within it. The final section blocks the image indexing bot from accessing the images directory. Each user agent block defines specific rules for different crawlers. And rules are applied in the order of their appearance in the file. Let us understand the allow and disallow rules in detail. Disallow rules prevent crawlers from accessing specified paths. For example, disallow, followed by a directory name with an asterisk, prevents access to all the files and subfolders within that directory. Using the $sign at the end of a file name prevents access to files with that particular extension. Finally, a simple disallow rule like disallow /admin prevents access to the admin directory. Some of the URLs that match these rules are given below. Now let's talk about allow rules. These rules create exceptions to disallow rules. For example, allow, followed by a directory path, allows access to that specific directory, even if it is disallowed by a previous rule. Similarly, you can allow access to a specific folder within another folder, or files within a particular directory using wildcards. More specific allow rules override general disallow rules. Some of the URLs allowed by these rules are shown below. Let's discuss some best practices for using the robots.txt file. First, always place the robots.txt file in the root directory of your website. For example, it should be accessible at https://example.com/robots.txt, and not at any other location like https://example.com/site/robots.txt. Second, be specific in your rules, use precise paths, and avoid overly broad rules that might block important content. For example, disallow /admin /private is a more specific rule than disallow, // Third, remember to review and update your robots.txt regularly as your site structure changes. You should ideally add a comment at the top of your file indicating when the robots.txt file was last updated. Finally, do not rely on robots.txt for security. Sensitive content should be protected through proper authentication. It's important to test and validate your robots.txt file. You can use tools like Google Search Console, which is an official tool to test your robots.txt file against Google's crawler. You can also use live testing, where you can test URLs directly using web crawler simulators. While testing, it's important to verify that the file is accessible at the root directory, test with multiple user agents, confirm proper path matching, check rule precedence, monitor crawler behavior and logs, and validate syntax for each directive. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.